Sheriffs across New York State have 3 weeks to come into compliance with a new state law which further restricts their cooperation with ICE. Niagara County Sheriff told our Dave McKinley today that his office is in compliance, but reluctantly. Right, Dave?
That is right, Courtney. And in accordance with the new state law, Niagara County Sheriff Mike Filicetti has canceled his 287G agreement with ICE, which allowed ICE detainees whose only crime was entering the country illegally to be housed at county jails as they await federal immigration proceedings.
I'm going to comply by not housing people here, but I'm going to continue to work with immigration authorities in this county the way I see fit.
Governor Hochul, who signed the law, which also further limits local law enforcers from sharing certain information with ICE, claims this also ensures local law enforcement is focused on fighting local crime.
Which is keeping their communities safe.
To just put directives out to further limit my cooperation with federal immigration authorities doesn't make sense to me.
Especially in Niagara County, which has an international border.
And for me to, see a boat come across the river, somebody get out, and for me to say that's not my problem, I'm not going to deal with that, when I had residents in Porter and in Lewiston saying, I'm waking up in the morning, there's people in my yard. That is a concern of mine. That is a public safety concern. So any part of New York State legislation that now further restricts my ability to do that, I feel is misdirected.
We don't hold people on ICE detainers.
But Erie County Sheriff John Garcia says that's always been due more to a lack of space at his 2 lockups and agrees with Filicetti in calling it an overreach by the state, which allows cooperation with federal agencies like the FBI, DEA, ATF, but not ICE.
I think it's a political issue more than it is a common sense issue.
ICE must now house its detainees at its facility in Batavia, which is filling fast with the feds more aggressively enforcing immigration laws, meaning it's more likely someone picked up locally who's maybe been living in Western New York with family here who will be going elsewhere.
And now they could be in the other end of the United States. So I don't know, if that was well thought through.
And both noted this comes about as we near the 25th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks.
When you read the report from 9/11, there was a communication breakdown. Some agencies knew some things that other agencies didn't know and vice versa. Why would you want to limit my level of cooperation with federal authorities when we're on a border and I can work with them to prevent potentially a tragedy? Why would you want to do that?
New York State Attorney General Tish James told us last week there were just but a few counties yet to come into compliance, and they've been notified of potential penalties unless they do by August 25th. On your side in the newsroom, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Dave, thank you.